Hey, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Grandpop coming to you from the living room in Jack's Beach. Today we're in Leviticus chapter 17, and we're going to look at the slaughter of animals. So I think what this is, and I don't pre-read these, but I've read them before, so I'm familiar with them, but I don't pre-read them. I think this has nothing to do with the sacrifice of animals. It's just like you're butchering an animal because you want to eat it. Short chapter. Verse 1 says, The Lord spoke to Moses, Speak to Aaron, his sons, and all the Israelites, and tell them, This is the word that the Lord has commanded. Now, I want you to think a minute about that. There's a couple million people here, probably. There's I think it was 600,000 military-age men, and they mostly had families, wives, children. There's also a mixed multitude of people that are either part Hebrew or just Gentile through and through. This is so like they're think about that. He's supposed to tell them. Now I don't know how he told them, but it doesn't say, write this down and have them read it. We don't know if most of those people could even read. We know that Moses could because Jesus said that Moses wrote about him. It says it in a couple different places. So he's got a megaphone. Hear ye, hear ye. Probably told them in groups by the tribe or part of the tribe or something like that. I'm sure he had, his voice was as bad as mine is most days when he was done. This is the word that the Lord has commanded. Blood guilt will be accounted to any man from the house of Israel who slaughters an ox or a lamb or a goat inside the camp or outside the camp, but has not brought it to the entrance of the meeting tent to present it as an offering to the Lord before the tabernacle of the Lord. Oh, that's right. So when you're there, now this isn't going to happen when they get into the land, unless I guess you're in Jerusalem, that you would take it to the temple. And I don't even know, don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's what they did there. But here, everybody's at this camp. So wherever they slaughtered this thing, maybe they were hunting outside of the camp and they got like an onyx or something. Is that what they're called? Yeah, I think it's an onyx or something. One of those goats that goes up and down the rocks. They go out there and maybe shoot an arrow, hit it, and then bring it in. Wherever they do that, they have to take it as a sacrifice to the meeting tent. So wherever they get it, if they have not brought it to the entrance of the meeting tent to present it as an offering to the Lord before the tabernacle of the Lord, he has shed blood, so that man will be cut off from the midst of his people. So I guess every animal that they want to eat is a sacrifice, and they'll get to eat it. But if they don't do that, if they just go, I don't feel like going all the way over there, I'm just going to take it to my tent, throw it in the fridge. They ate these things pretty quickly. I'm sure they did it communally too, besides just the priests. He has shed blood, so that man will be cut off from the midst of his people. This is so that the Israelites will bring their sacrifices that they are sacrificing in the open field to the Lord at the entrance of the meeting tent to the priest, and sacrifice them there as peace offering sacrifices to the Lord. The priest is to splash the blood on the altar of the Lord at the entrance of the meeting tent, and offer the fat up in smoke for a soothing aroma to the Lord. So they must no longer offer their sacrifices to the goat demons, acting like prostitutes by going after them. So they're out there in the desert and they're being protected by God. This giant plume of smoke all day, which turns into a pillar of fire at night. And it's protecting them. He's raining manna on them. All kinds of stuff. And they're chasing after other gods. But this is here because we chase after other gods too. We look at this and go, oh, these people are horrible. I would never be like that. Everybody is like, oh, if I was alive in World War II in Germany, I would have been Schindler from Schindler's List. I would have hid the Jewish people. No, you wouldn't have. I'm not saying that you would have slaughtered Jewish people, but there's a very good possibility that you wouldn't have been Schindler. The priest is to splash the blood on the altar of the Lord at the entrance to the meeting tent and offer the fat up in smoke. No, that's right. I said that before. So they must no longer offer their sacrifices to the goat demons, acting like prostitutes by going after them. This is to be a perpetual statute for them throughout the generations. So this is something that they're going to have to do. In fact, the way it's written here, they should be doing this now. They're not. There is one, I think they're called the Karaites. They're descendants of the Samaritans that you read about in the New Testament, which were like part Jewish and part Gentile. Like the story of the Good Samaritan and the lady at the well and all that kind of stuff. They lived in that area. And the Karaites are the closest thing to the original Judaism of the Bible. But there's no modern Jewish sects that, I mean, they don't have a temple, so they can't go to it. When they were taken to Babylon and Persia, way before Jesus got there, hundreds of years before Jesus was born, they developed synagogues, and synagogue is actually a Greek word. It's not even a Hebrew word. And so then when they came back, they started building synagogues in Jerusalem and all around the Holy Land. You are to say to them, any man from the house of Israel or from the foreigners who reside in their midst, who offers a burnt offering or a sacrifice, but does not bring it to the entrance of the meeting tent to offer it to the Lord, that person will be cut off from his people. And if you're cut off, you're out in the desert. Like, you can't even come into the camp, so you're going to die. Either you're going to be eaten by a wild animal, or, you'll die of heat exhaustion, or, it's not like they send you out there with a tent and a sleeping bag. So now we're going to once again hear the prohibition of eating blood. One thing that's interesting is that way before this, the book of Leviticus and the Ten Commandments and the law and all this stuff, they were told when they got off the ark, Noah was told, don't eat blood. You can eat all the animals, but don't eat blood. I was at a Polish house for Christmas dinner one time, back when I was a cop. I was dating this girl named Lucia, and her mom was was born and raised in Poland, and she had a thick Polish accent, but I'm talking about daughter Lucia, had a Polish accent. I think she was born there and came over when she was a little girl, and they had this sausage, and it was made out of pig blood. Like, ooh. I took a little bite of it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is good. And then I just hoped that they didn't notice that I didn't take any more of it. any man from the house of Israel or from the foreigners who reside in their midst who eats any blood, I will set my face against that person who eats the blood, and I will cut him off from the midst of his people. For the life of every living thing is in the blood. So I myself have assigned it to you on the altar to make atonement for your lives. For the blood makes atonement by means of the life. And boy, does this point to Jesus, because his blood makes atonement for all of us. Therefore I have said to the Israelites, no person among you is to eat blood, and no resident foreigner who lives among you is to eat blood. So whether you're Jewish or you're from the mixed multitude, or just a plain old Gentile, don't eat blood. Because he's not just going to make you go outside the camp. He's going to set his face against you. I don't even want to imagine what that would be like. Any man from the Israelites or from the foreigners who reside in their midst, who hunts a wild animal or a bird that may be eaten, must pour out its blood and cover it with soil. Cover the blood with soil. For the life of all flesh is its blood. So I have said to the Israelites, you must not eat the blood of any living thing, because the life of every living thing is its blood. All who eat it will be cut off. Any person who eats an animal that has died of natural causes, so Hebrew is a carcass. So it's kind of like roadkill. That would be, today, or once in a while, like, your cat goes out and it doesn't come back. And you go like, ooh, I wonder what happened. Well, maybe got hit by a car, maybe died of natural causes. If somebody finds that and they're cat eaters, they shouldn't eat the blood with it. Any person who eats an animal that has died of natural causes, or an animal torn by beasts, whether a native citizen or a foreigner, must wash his clothes, bathe in water, and be unclean until evening. Then he becomes clean. But if he does not wash his clothes and does not bathe his body, he will bear his punishment for iniquity. And that's it. Next up, exhortations to obedience and life. We're going to have the laws of sexual relations, a warning against the abominations of the nations. And so the nations, they're talking about the Goyim, the Gentiles, the nations that are surrounding them. But these things all have a larger meaning. Anyway, see you then. Peace out.